Curbing Corruption and Collusion at Hemet, Courthouse, and Southwest Justice Center. We have a Facebook group. Join us. I'm here with Laura, and she's going to talk to us about her situation with how perfect the Hemet Courthouse operates. Go ahead, Laura. It's all on you.
Okay, so approximately 5 years ago, just to give you guys a scope of my situation, I went through a divorce, a standard divorce, or so one would think. That divorce started like any other divorce, which is with two parents not getting along and fighting with one another. Very straightforward, one would think. It took me and my ex-husband over 5 years to actually come to a stipulated agreement as to the visitation of our children, as to the split of assets, and I don't know what else there would be in there, but basically that's what happened. Fast forward towards the 5th year of the divorce situation, about 2015, I was pulled back into court by my ex-husband because I married a black Nigerian man. Big surprise, most Nigerians are black. You can look it up. There's very few white people in Nigeria. That's the truth. I went to mediation like any arguing couple would do so. I was basically grilled by the mediator. It was a very biased mediation in not just my opinion, but you can look at the transcripts, you can look at the outcome.
Could you do me a favor? Can you hold it for me for a minute?
Sure.
I'm going to grab this and just put it down. Go ahead and you keep on talking because I need
Basically,
to do something.
what occurred was the mediator decided to make a recommendation for custody. We had already stipulated our custody arrangement. There were no issues involved whatsoever. It was already adjudicated, and it was ruled by the court that we were 50% legal and 50% physical custody. What then occurred was the mediator, once he found out that I traveled to Nigeria to marry my Nigerian husband, another big surprise, yes, I did do that, and yes, I was safe the entire time, and yes, I made it back here. You can see me in front of the Hemet Courthouse right now, perfectly safe and sound. I was dragged back through the mediation process because my ex-husband did not like that I had gone to Nigeria and married my husband, citing that that was dangerous for our children somehow. I'm not exactly sure why, but somehow. Anyhow, long story short, he put in a recommendation after my ex-husband had physically kidnapped. I have a civil standby proof. I have police reports to that extent. He kidnapped my children for a period of 3 months' time. He moved them to Chino, which is a different county, San Bernardino County, for any of you who are not aware of that. When he did so, he also changed the schools that my children were attending. He put them in schools that I was unaware of. He registered them through San Bernardino County, the Department of Education, and at these learning institutions, one of them a high school, one of them a junior high school, and did not tell me, the other parent, the other legal guardian that had 50% physical primary custody of these children and 50% legal custody of these children. He did not tell me this. I went to the mediation. I wrote a pleading to his request for orders, basically citing that he had parent alienated our children, and he had also kidnapped our children. We went into court with Judge Frederick Dickerson III, and Frederick Dickerson III actually started the first hearing by granting a 730 evaluation of both myself and my husband, my ex-husband. After he did so, okay? We were ordered to go to a Dr. Suitor, for anybody who is familiar with this person. This Dr. Suitor, I do not believe, knows what he's doing. I have no problem saying this on live video on camera. I will tell this to his face. He takes pictures of his patients so that he can remember who they are. The reason this is important for you to know is because Dr. Suitor, I should say, decided to send a letter to the judge, Judge Dickerson, basically stating that I refuse to go through his entire, I guess, testing process. And I say testing process because when I asked how these tests were going to be, I guess, graded, or what they are going to be judged by, or how he was going to compare me and my ex-husband to somebody who is not a good parent or whatever it is, he got very angry, and he told me he was going to remand me like a criminal back to Judge Dickerson. Now, let me point something out to you folks. I am not a criminal. I am a common citizen that loves my children, that has worked very hard to make sure that my children get good grades, that my children are good citizens for this community, that they do not violate the laws, that they respect their parents and their elders, okay? So now fast forward, Suitor sends a letter to Judge Dickerson that is plagiarized, that is, looking for words. Not plagiarized. I'm sorry, the word I cannot escapes my mind. Perjured. It is a perjury of what actually took place. He states that I am dyslexic in this letter and that I refuse to take his tests because of my dyslexia. Now, let me point something out to you. I am an English undergraduate. I have a Bachelor of Arts in the English language. That actually makes me pretty sure that I'm not dyslexic because I spent 4 years in college reading and writing papers, that I have records of all of this with perfect diction, perfect grammar. I can't be dyslexic, for those of you that know what dyslexia is. Anyway, Judge Dickerson gets this letter from Dr. Suitor. I'm not even going to call him a doctor, okay, folks? He doesn't deserve that.
He's off of Brockton and Riverside, isn't he?
I don't know where he is, but the guy does not deserve the title of doctor. No, we went over to Riverside.
Yeah,
I remember it specifically. I was very maltreated, as was my ex-husband, both of us, okay? And now, mind you, my ex-husband, he has his own issues, but we were both maltreated by this supposed doctor. Anyway, long story short, we get back into court. When we get back into court, Dickerson does not read the documentation, does not read exactly what is said in that letter. I try to express to the judge, Judge Dickerson III, this is Frederick Dickerson III, affectionately known, Frederick Paul Dickerson III, okay, affectionately known to many people who he has wronged and who he has neglected and who he has abused as Dickie. Okay, Dickie decided not to read my documentation. He decided not to go over the pleadings. At this point, Dickie is mad because I am no longer having my ex-husband pay for a 730 evaluation from Suitor. Now, this is where we get into collusion and we get into corruption. I believe, I cannot prove it yet, but I believe that Dickerson probably profits from forcing and ordering us to go to Dr. Suitor. Yeah. Okay? Now, folks, listen carefully. At this point, the mediator has put in a recommendation now for 70% physical custody to go to my ex-husband, who has kidnapped these children, legit kidnapped these children, legit violated court orders, Dickerson's own court orders, that we were supposed to have 50% legal and physical custody. What happens is he orders this. My ex-husband then takes 70% physical custody of these children. He stops actually telling me what's going on with their schools. I call their schools, and the schools are giving me a difficult time as their mother trying to find out, because they're claiming that he has primary custody of the children and they don't have to give me that custody, or they don't have to give me that information.
So what does the paperwork say?
The paperwork says he has 70% physical and I have 50% legal, which I pointed out to the Department of Education, the Board of Education for San Bernardino County now, folks, because my ex-husband took these children out of the Riverside County schools. My children were in good Murrieta schools. No permission whatsoever. Right. But Judge Dickerson, he went back on his own orders. Then Dickerson decides that he's going to give my ex-husband legal advice. Yes, that is against the adjudication law, basically. He decides to tell my ex-husband, now that he has 70% physical custody, not legal custody, physical custody of these children, that he should, or if he would like to reinsert or redo his child support orders, that he would rehear the case. Now, I want to reiterate, I had a stipulated judgment that was ordered by this court, by this Hemet court, under adjudication by Judge Frederick Paul Dickerson III. And he went back on that and he ordered something that not only is, I don't believe, the correct way to go about it, but he also destroyed our family. He has destroyed my relationship with both of my children. At the time, my daughter was 17 years of age. My son was about 13 years of age. At 17 years old, Judge Dickerson stated, and it is in my documentation, that he believes it is just fine for a 17-year-old, that is a minor, folks, that is not an adult yet, to actually do the visitation exchange with her brother, since she is a licensed driver. So he was allowing my 17-year-old to do the visitation exchange for her and her minor brother.
Are you allowed to drive a 14-year-old when you're a 17-year-old? Isn't there a law?
Yeah, you have to have a note, and there's all kinds of stuff. Okay, this was back in 2015, however, so I'd have to look that back up, to be dead honest with you.
Wow.
My point is, Judge Dickerson is putting our children in harm's way. He is making it so that families are being split apart, and he is doing what is not right by our children in Riverside County.
Well, wait a minute. Judge Dickerson did that here in family court.
Yes, sir.
But he did such a great job. Who the hell promoted him to Southwest Justice Center, where now he is trying to destroy our young adult children, huh?
That would be the presiding judge for the county of Riverside County, yes.
Wow.
Yes, and I do believe that if anybody else is having issues like this, where your children are being alienated, they are being abandoned by this court system, they are being neglected, they are sometimes even being abused by this court system, you need to do something about it. You need to do something about it. So we have joined together with hundreds, actually probably going to go on thousands of people, that over the many years of abuse and neglect by these judges and this courthouse are finally going to put a stop to this. We want answers. We want the people that are in charge of this superior court to respond. We want answers. We want action.
But is it fair to file something and come to court 4 months later? Is it fair? No, it isn't fair.
No, and that is the reason we're here today, John. I believe you and I are here because it is wholly unfair to those that need ex parte rulings, that those that need to be heard are not given some sort of venue to do so. I don't care
they don't listen to ex partes here. Moses Estrada filed for an ex parte November 19th of last year, proving that his ex is a drug addict. They didn't even give him a day in court to talk.
And I have a friend. We have a friend, a mutual friend, the judge gave her a restraining order, folks. This is a professional woman. She's actually well educated, absolutely. And she was given a restraining order. And Dickerson, Frederick Paul Dickerson III. I'm not even going to call him a judge anymore because
he's a former car salesman.
I don't care what he is. This man is ruining the lives of good, upstanding, educated, well-intended individuals. But it's worse than that, folks. He is destroying the lives of our children. Children should not have to be treated this way. They should not have to wonder if mommy or daddy loves them. They should not have to wonder, where's mommy, where's daddy? They should not be put in the middle of these cases as pawns by angry parents. And these judges, they need to realize while they are on the bench, they are not on the bench to actually adjudicate whether or not somebody pays a mortgage, somebody doesn't pay a mortgage. They are put on the bench for bigger than that. They need to uphold their oath as public servants, as officers of the court, and they need to read their pleadings, and they need to do their damn jobs. I'm a little passionate right now. I apologize for that.
You're doing great, but then we wait for 4 months, and we go to court on March 10th, and then they extend us and give us another 60 days, and then all of a sudden, horrible things happen like this virus, right?
Yes.
And so now there's no court dates coming, nothing's pending. Our children are aging quickly.
And that's another thing. Riverside County courts need to get with technology. Okay? Get with technology. No, you know what? I don't talk about Chinese out here.
The Chinese are doing it.
Okay.
They're already doing the telephonic phone thing for the last 2 years.
We need to get with the technology, okay? Supposedly we're in America. I haven't seen it here in Riverside County because I really would attribute this to a third world country right now.
Can you show us America? Because this is not America. This is an empty parking lot. Businesses are shut down. This is not America. And this is Saturday. I know this is Saturday.
Now, granted, I'm not saying don't be safe. I'm not saying don't, stay at home or cover your mouth. Now, granted, John and I, we are 6 feet apart, and we have remained 6 feet apart, okay? There's nobody around here, okay? Not a single person around here. Our point is, this is ludicrous. You have people like Moses Estrada, who hasn't seen his kids for God knows how long. He was supposed to be in this courtroom last week, and he was supposed to actually have a hearing so that he could get visitation of his children. His children are now with his mother-in-law, apparently, a woman who doesn't even have legal custody of these children.
Not mother-in-law. They were never married. The little drug smuggler was able to serve him illegally. Folks, if you get served, unless it's from the sheriff's department or the police department, if you get served by a private citizen, check them out. If they're a tweaker, it should be illegal.
Okay, that, again, another point, putting children in harm's way. Putting children directly in the line of fire. Now let's go to Paul Dickerson. Frederick Paul Dickerson III. Now his new gig at the Southwest Justice Center in Murrieta. Okay, let's talk about that for just a second. All right. Now this man, this very, very dangerous man who thinks that he has the power to destroy people's lives, which he does right now because nobody's done anything about it.
Nobody stood up because there's no Americans around here.
Now let's do this. Let's just talk about him in the criminal justice system, okay, for just a second. Let's talk about his abuses of people of color.
Okay. Can I give you an example? White attorney doing a great job for a black young man, and the judge says to the white attorney, listen, if this man's giving you a hard time and he's not listening to you, you tell me and we'll override the decision. Now remember, great white female attorney doing a great job for the young black man, but the judge said that's not good enough.
Okay, it gets even better than that, folks. This judge, and it is on transcripts, it is written on transcripts, states to the young black man who is on trial.
Patrick Lamar Watson.
On trial for 2 felonies that are not even justified, okay? And we can get into that later on.
Well, can I just say, it started off with 1 felony, and then in the middle of it, they added it.
Okay, but the point I'm getting at here is he says to this young man, he says to him, he says, hey, I don't recommend that you represent yourself, and I don't recommend that these people represent you. I recommend that you get an attorney. And I don't think you should listen to your mother. Okay, now he's saying this in court. He's saying to a young man, no more than maybe 22 years of age, if that, at that time, this judge is giving this young man legal advice.
He's 24 now.
Legal advice. Now, where is it written anywhere that a judge, any judge who is supposed to be a neutral third party in adjudicating a case, can give anybody legal advice? He is very biased, folks, and he is very dangerous. And he's not the only dangerous judge in this court, in these courthouses.
No, he switched places. What he did
he
was...
swapped with Elaine Kiefer. I want you to
Elaine
remember
Kiefer.
these names. Elaine Kiefer and Frederick Paul Dickerson III, okay? This is just 1 or 2 or 3. Now we're at 3, maybe even 4. I'm sorry. I think it's gone up to 5. Nope, now we're at 6, maybe 7.
Wait a minute, hold
minute.
up.
I think we're at about 12
back to 2?
instances of abuse in the Riverside County Courthouse.
Elaine Kiefer laughed at Moses Estrada. She says, how do you know she's in jail? Well, Moses says, well...
It's all over the news.
No, all over the internet. And she laughed at him, right? If you Google Amber Nicole Reyes, it says USA versus Reyes. That's the case, all right? And then also, there's a whole bunch of Facebook and YouTube and a news article on January 22nd, dated January 24th, arrested on January 22nd, for 60 pounds of meth. But the judge, let me show you how the judge thing. I know we're not doing the Chinese thing, but she looked at the screen like this and says, it says unborn child. That was like when she filed illegally 3 years ago. Even we proved that the mom filed with the 3rd child has already been born. Hemet Courthouse is still so far back, we're missing children.
But that goes to the point I said, where they do not read the pleadings. They do not read the documentation in their own courtrooms. How can they be adjudicating cases when they don't have all the facts sitting in front of them? I've watched Elaine Kiefer in one of her court cases, actually several of her hearings. I sat with a friend during this time. This woman doesn't even know what an appraisal is on a property, on a house. She's dividing assets for divorcing couples, and she doesn't understand basic real estate law and basic real estate practice.
Didn't she make a decision without an appraisal?
Okay, so yes, she did make a decision, and she continues to make decisions without appraisals.
No, this is family court, but she allowed a real estate agent.
And this is where we go to collusion and corruption again, folks. I ask the question, are any of these judges in bed with these service providers? And my answer that I'm going to find out is probably yes. And Dickerson, I am sure when he sees this video, isn't even going to remember who I am. But he should remember who I am, because his sexism and his racism and his inability to do his job properly and legally and with the utmost care has ruined my family's life. I've waited 5 years to come out with this. I can wait much longer. And guess what, Dickerson? I have nothing to lose. Not a single thing to lose. You want to know why, buddy? Because I don't get very much child support anymore, and I take care of myself, as I always have. I know that's going to make you angry, and there's nothing you can do about it, but right now, I get to talk to you face to face, buddy. Okay? If you don't like it, then do something about it. There is not a single damn thing you can do about it in your courtroom, because guess what? I'm not a criminal, and I refuse to go into your courtroom. And I am warning everybody I know to refuse to go to your courtroom. I don't care what beef you have with your ex. I don't care what beef you have with anybody else in your life right now. Please, for the love of God, if you have Judge Dickerson in a divorce or family law case, refuse to go into that courtroom.
Or get it transferred to Riverside.
Or get it transferred to the Riverside courts. Same with Elaine Kiefer. I want you all to file, what are they called, 170.6s?
Well, you're the smart one.
Yeah, 170.6. I can't remember. I believe it's a form. If you have not already had a ruling by Kiefer and you are in family court and you are stuck with her, then I'm sorry for that. But if you are not stuck with her, change your judge. Request a change of venue. By God, just do it. Okay? We all need to take a stand against these people ruining our lives. And guess what? They're not just ruining your life. They're ruining your kids' lives. And if you can't handle that and you don't know what to do with that, then you better go back and you better figure out why you are in the middle of a divorce. That's the truth.
Check this out. I really thought this was a race issue until I sat into the Kiefer thing. Temecula is a lot of military, a lot of professionals, a lot of great people from all over, Marietta, Menifee and everything. They brought it out here. We shouldn't be out here. There's something wrong out here. If you look at the building, it's outdated, completely outdated. You go to Riverside, you'll see that each judge is very, very fair. They let everybody speak. Not here.
Yeah, and look behind me. This is like a retro 1950s building.
Is it 1950?
I don't know. 1960. It's 1940.
1930.
Who knows?
You know what? Probably back in 1918 on our last epidemic virus.
Okay. You know, I go to the courthouses frequently for something different, a part of one of my jobs that I do, a gig that I do. And I went into the Banning Courthouse, and the Banning Courthouse is beautiful. It is brand spanking new. Brand new. It has all the most upgraded stuff. My partner has gone into every courthouse you would think in Southern California. If you go into some of the Los Angeles County courts, you go into Bellflower, you go to the North Justice Center, some of these courts, even though they have older buildings, the inside has been refurbished to very modern day courts. And they're using modern day technology. Why is it that Hemet and Southwest Justice Center, by the way, Southwest Justice Center is just a tad more beautiful than here, but why are they not using technology the way they're supposed to be? Ex parte hearings in family law are not only important, they are highly necessary and should be mandatory so that children can see both of their parents.
Exactly.
Period. I am sick and tired of the excuses. The presiding judge for the Superior Court for Riverside County needs to listen. He needs to listen and he needs to take action. And if he doesn't listen and take action, we have no problem going to the Supreme Court for the state of California. And if they don't want to listen, by God, we're going to go all the way to the top. We have no problem going into the federal courts with this. Do you understand? You are human beings. You are not gods. You're not demigods. And we aren't going to put up with this crap.
We all follow the U.S. Constitution. So we've already proven this is not a black, white, Hispanic issue. This is about our rights. They are taking our rights. And I'm looking at this date. We're all supposed to come back to court on April 3rd. We're supposed to have a rally on Southwest Justice Center on April 1st. But if the court's closed, we're going to extend it to probably the following week. But what we need your help on is if you got free time, anytime Judge Dickerson's courthouse is open, go in, sit down, don't write, don't talk, don't fart, don't
follow his rules.
Yeah, he'll kick you out. I am disabled, and for when I write, I start saying things because I have a memory problem. If you ever watch me, I can't remember somebody's name until I screenshot and look at it. Okay, I was kicked out for putting like this, 2, 3, whispering to myself. I was kicked out, and the judge just sat there. Okay, so folks, when you have free time, go into Judge Dickerson's courtroom, go into Kiefer's courtroom, do not video, don't write anything, just watch everything, and you'll find for a fact they are abusive. These are old timers. They shouldn't be in the system. You go to Riverside and then go to Riverside and you check out the judge. I had a judge the other day. The guy was an idiot and I was supporting the guy, right? And the mom's a really nice lady and the judge still allowed him to talk to his son on video. That's fair.
Yeah, well, and just so you know, just so you're aware, if anybody sat in Dickerson's courtroom, Dickerson is inhumanitarian to the point where he yells at people on the telephone. We have proof of that. We're going to try and find the individual that got yelled at. So if you are watching this or you know of somebody who has been yelled at by that judge, please, by all means, reach out to us, okay? We also know for a fact, and I have watched Kiefer. Kiefer is a perfect example. She doesn't listen. This woman doesn't listen. These two judges, they cut you off mid-sentence. They do not allow you to speak. They do not allow you to tell your side of the story. And I've watched it time and time and time again. I have sat in these judges' courtrooms. I have watched how they adjudicate their cases. They do not read their pleadings. They do not do their jobs. They do not have any humanitarian bone in either of their bodies. That is the message that they send to those that are sitting in their courtroom and watching them adjudicate.
Right.
Anything else, John?
No. Look at my shirt. Look at my shirt. This is Moses Estrada. It's $2 Walmart shirt. I'm sorry. I'm asking you guys to stop shopping at Walmart. All right. And then just mark it on there. You can go in the courtroom like this, and they can't say anything because this is my wardrobe. Right. This is how I am. I'm ghetto. You can do this. You can't walk in a sign with it, or you can just do something small up here that says NAACP is watching you. By the way, that's a lie. NAACP in Riverside, San Bernardino is me. I'm a one-man operation.
No, it's me too.
Oh, you're joining my group?
Yeah.
I need paperwork. I need certification, okay? Because we're willing to bleed for you, okay? The NCAAP is effective. Yeah. I think I said it right the first time, right? NAACP in Los Angeles works. Here, they don't do anything. They don't care about you. And look, I even had to do a perm to look more Afro so I can embrace the black community. I'm here for you, all right? You don't have to be afraid of them. And then guess now what? I found an Anglo-Saxon gringa who actually stepped up and half a dozen more because I was here the other day helping out Moses, all right? So this is not about race because a Hispanic woman, young girl, called the cops on me. If you saw my video.
Not me.
Not her.
Not
She's
me.
not Hispanic. You're not Hispanic. No Hispania, okay? No comprende nada, okay? Gringa, sí. So the point is, it's not about racism. It's about understanding the U.S. Constitution. The judges want stupid young people not to understand what's going on so they can continue to do what they're doing.
Yeah, they think it's okay. They think it's okay to persecute us. They think it's okay to make us feel like we don't have any hope, that we don't have anywhere to go, that we don't have any place to talk. We have no venue. Just so you guys are well aware, we do. And we have very, very brilliant legal minds behind us. And like I said, my case in particular, I waited 5 years to come out and do this.
18.
The only reason, 5 years, okay?
18.
So what do I have to lose? Nothing. But a lot of you guys that are watching this, you have a lot to lose. If you don't calm down and you don't separate your anger for your ex for your anger with the courts, we're going to have a problem here, folks.
Don't be angry. Don't be angry.
Be calm. Be collective. Be cool. Okay?
This is our normal. This is our normal. We're not even angry yet.
Okay? Yeah. Just be cool. Just be cool. Okay? And just so you know, like I said earlier, I would say that this courthouse, in particular, this one, Hemet Courthouse, needs to audit its cases, and it needs to take a close look at exactly what it's been doing thus far. It needs to take a close look, a very close look.
Laura is the leader of this organization. We do have another co-leader.
One of them.
But the co-leader is silent because bottom line is she's one that's very effective, very strong. So bottom line is what we're trying to tell you guys. Let's get out here in the sun so they can see our faces really, really good. You can take us down, Laura and me, John Denlos, women, right? You can take us down, but the movement's going to continue. And we're saying this directly to Judge Frederick Paul Dickerson III. You call him Dickie, I call him the car salesman from Nissan. And then Kiefer, Elaine, the tiny lady who don't know how to read the manita. Thank you.
All right. And from a professional angle, it's not just those judges. It's every single judge in the Riverside County Superior Court system that is adjudicating their cases without the proper information.
We're doing 2 at a time.
Okay? That's it.
woman.
That's it. But as of this moment in time, just so you're aware, we do have evidence. We have written evidence of the badness that has taken place in these two judges' courtrooms. Okay? Now, again, I do not give them the respect of calling them judges because, in my opinion, they have not earned it.
Are they over 65?
And I have no idea, but I will tell you this:
they shouldn't be left out of the house.
They are also voted in to their position. And so here's what I've 2025, okay? So, Dickerson and Elaine, both, okay?
We can't afford another 5 years. You do the math on how many children gets lost and destroyed.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, anyway, guys, I got to get going. I know John's got to get going. If you have questions,
okay. Just kidding.
I got to get going. I'm hungry. I need to go eat. But I want to leave you with this. I want to leave you with this.
One message: best sheriff we've ever had, but he really needs to get involved in with all these accusations of the Filipino drivers speed racing off the Dominguez and Menifee. It's not happening. It's not happening. You can't speed race in brand new cars with little kids in the car. That's not how it works. I know how to speed race. I can tell you how to do it. All right?
Oh, and you also have to have two cars.
Yeah, you have to have
two
cars.
Racing, okay?
That's the whole thing.
If you're racing, you got to race against somebody. You can't race. What are you racing against? The wind?
Exactly. And there's usually a whole bunch of little kids.
Okay, so tell them which cases we're talking about.
We're talking about
Patrick Lamar.
Patrick Lamar Watson, and about your other
we
case.
We have another friend. It hasn't come out yet, but we have another friend who went through this same bogus charge, and it's wrong. Boys, mostly young boys of color.
We got color. Now, remember when I told you about Patrick, I said, dang, he's not even Filipino. How can you even get him? Because Filipinos, they do to race, but that's usually in Orange County. It's not cool to race in Riverside County. Even rap singers have left Riverside because racing and being cool in Riverside, that's not it. So the sheriff's deputy, you need to stop. It's got to stop.
It's got to stop. Yeah, it's got to stop. The
Yeah.
profiling and the harassing and all of that crap. Plus, it's expensive for these parents. I mean, like they're impounding cars and they're illegal. It's illegal search and seizure.
They can't even find Patrick Lamar's car. It's been 4 years. And by the way, my afro here, my perm is real. Since I gone black, they've left me alone. But that Mexican thing didn't work. Right? I kept getting harassed.
All right, here. You need to turn off your.
Thank you.
You need to turn off your phone. Bye, guys.